Hello everyone, my name is M. Shafqat Zinnat. I'm a fourth year student at MAN taking computer science as major, and today I'm going to show you the final project of our computer science 4303 that me and my partner have been working on for last 4 months. So let's get started. First of all, I'll change the enemy race to Terran, and against Terran we are using Dark Templar Rush strategy, and our winning rate is 100% against Terran with that strategy. So let's start the game, and I will try to explain what is happening in the game. So as usual, the probes are getting built. So on the ninth, when the probe count is 9, they will send a scout. As you can see, the 9 probe count is 9, and they send a scout in the starting points of the game, and they found the enemy race Terran, so they started building the gateway, and they're following the build order for the Dark Templar Rush. Now they're building the 780 core, and then the Citadel of Adun, and then the Templar Archive and 2 more gateway. So as soon as the archive is built, it will start building the Dark Templar. And as soon as the first Dark Templar is built, it will send an attack, and rest Dark Templars will follow. So that is pretty much it for the strategy. You can see they're defeating the enemies, and they're returning to the original position which was saved, and the position of that is the position of the enemy's base location. So that's how it works, and I will show you the next one how we win. It's dark.
Hello there, I am SM Shahriar Jobair. I am a fourth year computer science student at Memorial University of Newfoundland. Today I am gonna show a project that my partner and I worked, which is developing artificial intelligence in StarCraft. So today I am gonna show the Zealot Rush against Zerg, where our winning percentage is 30. Later I'm gonna show the code that I have worked on. First of all, I'm gonna change the enemy race from random to Zerg. Then I'm gonna change the game speed to 20. So now I'm gonna open the game. So as we can see, the Protoss probe are collecting minerals to the Nexus. One thing to notice here, as soon as the Protoss probe number reaches 9, it's gonna send one of the Protoss probe for scouting to the starting locations of the game to find the enemy base. So they started building the Protoss pylon, and then we have our scout here. It's searching for the enemy base. Now they are gonna build the assimilator, and they have started building the Protoss gateway, And as we can see here, our enemy race is dark, and so it's gonna follow the Zealot Rush build order. So as soon as the gateway is built, they're gonna start training the Zealot immediately. So here is our Zealot going to the base to attack.
My life for ire. My life for ire. My life for ire.
So we have attacked the enemy base. So this was pretty much it.
My life for ire.
So this was our Zealot Rush. Thank you.
Now I will explain the code itself. I will explain my part, and later on my partner will come in and explain his part. So I'll go to the Visual Studio Code, and first of all I'll explain the starterboard.h. Um, Over here I created any base variable and stored an initial position of 00. So it will be replaced later on the CPP file when the scout finds the enemy base and stores the enemy base location and replace the 00 with it. And also taken another variable called enemy race and define some function, created some function here dt rush, which is start templar rush, zero crash, and train additional worker for zilot, build extra supply zilot, attack enemies zilot, and others over here. And on the CPP file, at first I'm putting the send idle workers to mineral, build additional supply, and scout with unit. These three function I'm putting it for like universal. It will be the same for the Zilot Rush and the Dark Templar Rush. And over here I have defined which strategy to follow. So at first, if the enemy race is not Zerg, it will follow the Dark Templar Rush, and if the enemy race is Zerg, then it will follow the Zealot Rush. So in the game, it for against Protoss and Terran, the our troops will follow the TT Rush, Dark Templar Rush, and only for Zerg, it will follow the Zealot Rush. So on the Dark Templar Rush, I have added uh, the train additional worker, build extra supply, and the attack enemies. And for the Zealot Rush, as same as the Dark Templar Rush, created the train additional worker for Zealot, build extra supply for Zealot, and attack enemies Zealot. So now I will explain the scout with unit function. So over here, I'm taking all the units that belongs to me and storing them to the my unit set. And then over here, from my unit set, I'm taking all the Protoss prop and storing them to the pro. So here, if the pro, which is the Protoss prop, is smaller than 9, then it will send the scout. And here, if the enemy base is found, then it will return. And here, if the scout is not initialized, it will initialize the scout. And here what it does actually is it is sending the second prop for scouting, because when we were testing the game, every time we are sending the first prop to the scout, because every time we take the unit get tab, it automatically selects the first Protoss prop. So when we send the first Protoss prop, the rest of the props will won't do anything, so the game crashes. So to avoid that, we are sending the second scout, This statement does that. And here again, we're uh, doing is if the scout is still not initialized, it will just return. Here, we made a variable called the close enemy. So when the scout goes to the scouting, if it finds the enemy units, it will store that on the close enemy closest enemy variable. And here, when they found the closest enemy, the scout, it will save the target position to the enemy base, and it will also store the close enemy's race type to the enemy race. And here, we're sending the scout to the every position or every starting position of the game. So if the scout doesn't find the first enemy location at the first position, then it will go to the second position and so on. And that's pretty much it. So on the attack enemies, which is actually the Dark Templar Rush attack strategy over here, and for the Zealot Rush, there's the different one attack enemies with Zealot. So on the Dark Templar Rush, also taking my unit set variable for my units, and then taking another variable called vec, and storing all the enemy units to the vector list. And the get enemy units I have created here, where it is selecting all the units including my units, and then extracting um, from the enemy units from my units, and then storing them into the vector called enemy units. As you can see, it is returning the enemy units over here and storing them here, and then returning to the get enemy unit. So whenever the get enemy units is called, it is actually getting all the units that belongs to the enemy. So going back here, also created a vector variable called tar, where taking all the Dark Templar unit from my unit set, and here taking uh, I'm selecting the units that can attack from my unit, and also selecting not Protoss props, because I don't want to attack with the Protoss props. And if the attacking unit means the Dark Templar is idle, then they will find the closest distance of the enemy. And if the enemy unit can attack, so uh, say the enemy unit which can attack our base or our units, it will first attack those units, like the enemy Dark Templar or enemy Xylot or enemy props or something like that. So our unit will first attack, will determine their distance, and they will attack those unit first. And if the close enemy is not equal to null, then they will attack the close enemy. And this function, what it does is, when the Dark Templar is greater or equal to 0, so for the whenever the first Dark Templar is ready, it will start attacking the enemy base. And similar to attack enemy Zealot, created the minus set, then created the vec, and then created the z variable where it is protosilot. Then it will do the same as the Dark Templar. It will select from my units which can attack and not the Protoss props and is idle. And it will also attack enemy units which can attack us. It will focus on those units first, and it will find their distance, and then it will attack those units first, and then um, this function, as I said before, it will attack the closest enemy after determining the closest enemy. And if my zealot is idle and zealot is greater or equal to, which means is that my zealot, when it reaches number 2, on the unit number, it will start at the at enemy base. So other than like the Dark Templar, where the first unit will attack the enemy base, but on the Zealot Rush, when the Zealot count is 2, it will start attacking the enemy base. So that's it from my side that I have worked on, and my partner will come now and will explain what he did. And thank you for watching the presentation.
So first we have the send idle workers to mineral function. So here we're gonna get our units and store it to my unit, and then from my unit we're gonna store the Protoss assimilator in the assimilator variable, as well as the Protoss probe to the probe variable. Then here we have a condition. We're gonna check if the probe is worker and at the same time is idle, then it's gonna enter into another condition, that is like the first 11 probes gonna collect mineral to the nexus. Then we have another condition. If from more than probe is more than 12 and till if it's less than 21, and if we have an assimilator, then those probes gonna collect gas from the Protoss assimilator. Then we, for the Dark Templar rush, we're gonna create 20 probes, as well as for the Zealot rush we're gonna create 9 probes. So here we have build additional supply. Here we're in this unused supply, we're gonna check how much supply we have unused. So we're gonna have the total supply. If the total supply is true, then we're gonna deduct the supply used. That's how we get the unused supply. Then we have build extra supply. Here we're gonna, from my units, we're gonna store the Protoss assimilator in the assimilator variable and the Protoss probe to a scout num variable. And here we have a Protoss gateway stored in gateway variable. So we have a condition that if we have the scout num is greater than 0 and we don't have any assimilator, then it's gonna start building Protoss assimilator. Then we're gonna store the Protoss Templar archives in temp, and we're gonna see if we don't have any gateway, it's gonna start building a Protoss gateway. And again, if the temp is equal to 1 and the gateway is less than 3, it's gonna build 2 more Protoss gateway. So here we have Protoss cybernetics core stored in the cybernetics variable. We have a condition. We're gonna check if the gateway is greater than or equal to 1 and the cybernetics is equal to 0. Then we have a builder variable where we store the Protoss gateway, and we're gonna check if the builder is completed. The reason we put this condition, because when we test the game, every time it crashes because the gateway is being constructed and The Protoss probe is trying to build the cybernetics core, but the gateway is not completed. That's why we have this condition to check whether the gateway is completed. If the builder is completed, then they will build the Protoss probe will build the Protoss cybernetics core. Then we're gonna store the Protoss citadel of Adun in the Citadel, and we're gonna see if the cybernetics is greater than or equal to 1 and the Citadel is equal to 0. Then the Protoss probe will start building the Protoss citadel of Adun. And we have another condition: if the Citadel is greater than or equal to 1 and the temp is equal to 0, then they're gonna start building the Protoss Templar archives. So here, if the Protoss gateway is completed and then the enemy is not training, then they're gonna start training the Protoss Dark Templar. Then we have build extra supply zealot. So here we're gonna select our unit and then we're gonna store the Protoss gateway from my unit to the gateway variable. And if we have gateway less than 2, then it's gonna start building 2 more Protoss gateway. Then here again we have, if the Protoss gateway is built and it's not currently training the unit, then we're gonna train the Protoss zealot. So that was pretty much our code for the artificial intelligence for StarCraft game. Thank you.